It's one of those cold Joburg mornings, but it's going to be a warm one because we are warming our minds in the company of an author that we are going to be talking to so that we can be able to find what inspires writing, but also why the name of the book. And obviously that is going to help us to understand some of the ways of life that we experience from time to time, and that ultimately becomes part of how we go on with the way that we live. We are introducing today Tshepo Matjila, who has written a book with a very curious name. Curious in a number of ways, Tshepo Matjila.
Yeah.
The Last Witch of Sandton. Now, when you talk about last, it means that there must have been a number of them.
Yeah.
Because it is last as in a number,
Yeah.
and not last as in L-U-S-T.
Right.
But also a witch in Sandton. I mean, Sandton is the richest square mile on the continent.
Right.
Who would think of a witch in Sandton? But whether we get there
Right.
through sorcery,
Yeah.
or we get there out of pulling our bootstraps,
Yes.
is what we are going to find out.
Absolutely.
But maybe before we get into the book itself, because we also would love to know who is Tshepo Matjila? Who is Tshepo Matjila in the sense that everyone has got a beginning and everyone has got a root.
Yeah.
So if you could just, be kind enough
Yeah.
to share with us as to who Tshepo Matjila is and how does he get here. But maybe even before how do we get here?
Yeah.
Just who is Tshepo Matjila?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sputnik. I think that is one question, even in interviews, I struggle with to say who is Tshepo, because I always see myself in portfolios as well as in various eras of my life. So if you ask, where was Tshepo born? Then that's the easiest question for me to answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that you are giving me direction, my good Lord, let's go back.
Yeah.
Where does Tshepo emanate from?
Yeah. I'm from a small town.
Whether it be your family background,
Yeah.
Your roots.
Yeah.
Obviously, that would include, how you got parented, not how you got parented, but obviously who were the parents and your siblings,
Yes.
and so on.
Yeah.
Are you married?
Yeah.
Do you have kids?
Yeah.
And so on. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Again, so when you look at where do I come from as a starter, I'm from a small town, as I said, from a town called Bela in what was formerly called Varambat, in the Limpopo province. It's a tourist town, so I was born there many years ago. I'm over 40.
That's very relative.
Yeah. I'm over 40, so over 40 years ago I was born there. I'm born from my father being the late Johannes Musima, and my mother is Mule Matjila. So I took on my grandfather's last name and not my father's one. I have two siblings who I'm the eldest of. So it's nice, and it's also difficult being the eldest born, because naturally you have to lead by example. So it's a big job.
I must say I've got no clue what it is like to be a firstborn. But if you ask
Lucky
me
you.
about being the youngest sibling,
Yes.
I can tell you stories,
Right.
including the fact that my father was the youngest in at his home.
Okay.
So I think I took after him in that sense.
Right.
So that helps because it sets us to understand Bila, as you say, a tourist destination,
Yeah.
one of the primary ones, even, during the previous times. We always knew what Bila, people, we would always go there.
Yeah.
Even us, some of us from the townships. I grew up in Soweto. I was born in Alexandra.
Okay.
But we used to have school trips
To Varambat.
to Bila,
Over
to
far.
Varambat. Yeah, at that time it was called Varambat. It was Northern Transvaal.
Northern Transvaal.
And so on. But a family setting, and especially where you actually can be able to relate to that family setting, is helpful, I think, in later life as well, because it kind of sets you up in terms of what it is that you can look forward to. And therefore, obviously, you got to school in Bila.
Yeah.
And so on. How far did you go there, and with your schooling, and what did it set up to set you up for?
Yeah.
In terms of your career, as it were. Currently, we are not yet at your authorship. We're just looking at your further background.
Yeah. So I mean, I like all the kids born pre democracy. I went to the township schools. I think about 3 of them. One was Kabele, that's where I did my primary school until about grade 8 in what was then standard 6. It was a good upbringing, I would say. I also did my standard 7 and 8, grade 9 and 10 in a school called Maobe Senior Secondary School. And in grade 11 and 12, that was the first time I came out of the Northern Transvaal into Gauteng. I did my grade 11 and 12 in Pretoria, a school called Edu College, Pretoria. That's where I completed my matric before proceeding to do my post-matric studies at University of Pretoria.
Do you think that you actually followed your childhood dreams in terms of
No,
that?
actually. And that's the beauty of life, isn't it? I mean, when I was initially thinking about careers, which was probably in grade 9 and 10, I had 2 in-law brothers who were married to my aunts. One of them said to me, if you want money, you must do law. Become a lawyer.
Very curious.
Yeah, lawyers live well. Become a lawyer, go represent people, make major money. And this other one, who was a teacher but transitioning at the time, said, lawyers are the scums of the earth. They wait for accidents and then they claim people's money from ref, right?
Oh my goodness.
So if you want a reputable career, go and become a medical doctor.
So the one is reputation, the other one
is reputation, the other one is money, right?
Yeah.
So I was like caught between the two because one, I really like law for, the rational thinking because I'd like to believe I'm very rational. But I couldn't proceed with medicine because I also, at the time, I was scared of seeing blood flow, right? And, in medicine, there's blood as part of, your daily routine to the extent that your career actually dictates. So I was caught in this quagmire of 2 of my favorite brothers-in-law who were trying to influence me to go one way or the other. So, and I ended up doing IT. So right on the polar end of whatever these guys are trying to do. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
No, that was a complete about
That
10.
was a complete...
They must have been shocked.
I think it at the end of the day, for me, I think they trusted me because I had proven myself that I'm not only just a whimsical person, but I'm a rational person. So whatever decision that I had taken, they thought I probably have thought it through.
Yeah.
But even with me, it was just pure happenstance that I actually ended up as an IT person, because initially when I went to tax, I wanted to register for chemical engineering, BSc, because I really enjoyed the subject of chemistry in high school. But I was ill-advised because my subjects were in lower grade, so I didn't qualify for a full-on good marks, bad grades.
Bad grades,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I ended up in IT almost as, they ask you to fill
First
in,
choice,
first
second
choice,
choice.
second choice, and second choice was the IT career, and that's where I've made hay since.
So outside of writing,
Yeah,
because I think writing is almost something that you tend to, from my reading of you,
yeah,
that it was not something that you actually went out of your way to really follow.
no.
So what else do you love? Do you enjoy doing outside of IT, outside of your normal work?
Yeah. So, I mean, I grew up as an artistic child. So I could draw, I could make, the koloitse,
Yeah,
tsa
tsa
matrata.
literata.
I also, liked writing poetry. I've been writing poetry since, and at some point I started writing poems and selling them, to people who wanted to express but didn't have the words. So it became an avenue for income for me while I was at varsity. But it started a bit earlier on when I was in high school, writing for someone that you really
Yeah.
fancied, and because of, you know,
You're
that
taking me back to
phase.
some
Yeah.
phase in my life.
So the love grew,
Yeah.
right? And when I saw that I could monetize it, it actually gave me a lot of courage to
Yeah.
continue the quest to write. So I entered competition. I started my own poetry book, joined the poetry societies and stuff. But I think it's one of those things where, as I say, it's portfolios that I've always had, but that I never really thought that outside of my work I would actually pursue.
But then those poems,
Yeah.
have you got them in a collection?
No, I actually had them in my own 72-page book.
A4.
Yeah, A4. And one friend of mine, bless him, Alex, I used to call him Mr. Alex, used to come and want to copy one for his own pursuits, right? And one day he said, "Let me borrow the book so I can write all of them and bring it back," and he never did.
Because for me, for me, really, when you talk about that you wrote them, and I'm thinking, even prior to this or additional to this,
Yeah,
that could be actually something that could be put into a book
yeah,
and be put out there.
yeah,
Particularly because then it would give you, and it could even give the reader,
yeah,
a full understanding of where you come from. Where some of them, remember, you wrote them when you were still young.
yes.
O di ngwala e le hore wa tseba hore keng o naganne hore
They were quite juvenile. Yeah.
So if nka ngwala di deng,
Yes.
and then ka mofa o tla tla ansheba in a different
In
way.
a different way.
But also the very fact that you used to write those for other people to go and utilize, it implies that people were aware of what and could appreciate
Yeah.
what it is that you could do.
I think that
with the words.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it's part of my almost like my creative portfolio
Yes.
of things that I've been able to do over the years, right?
Yeah.
And maybe the as they say, the serendipity is you sometimes you do things not really knowing where they're gonna lead you to, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember initially my first trigger of wanting to write creatively a book was I was in grade 8, and this was actually something that was uh, encouraged through one of the teachers I had. Right, so he told us this story about ghosts, right, that used to terrorize the town. And I used that almost as a strand for me to start the process of writing. But I never really got much of a book out of it, right? So this isn't my first dance with trying to write a book, right? It's the first successful completion of a book. There has been others, including when I was in varsity and even post varsity, that I tried to write a book, and it never really got finished. Even with this one, the the irony is, I probably had like 7 manuscripts of it in various guises.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this became the last one that actually made it out of the gate. Yeah.
The other time, was it just this past week or something? Because I love reading.
Yeah.
I love writing.
Nice.
It has never happened or occurred to me that I could put something together
Okay.
in a format like this.
Right.
But I also love, reading about, reading autobiographies,
Yeah.
reading stories, reading philosophy and what have you.
Yeah.
I read,
There's a whole spectrum.
a whole spectrum.
Yeah.
But the other day, I was actually listening to a clip.
Yeah.
I think it was on TikTok or something. And one of these guys that in one of the, I think Toto it was,
Yeah.
he was talking about this one song that they wrote for Michael Jackson.
Oh, okay.
And then he was telling the story about how they actually got to ultimately write that song for him.
Okay.
It was a song that they were playing about for themselves.
Okay.
And I think someone then asked Quincy Jones to come and listen to these guys. And he loved the sound.
Right.
But he said, the person that can do this song is Michael Jackson. So they went and put it together. And at one time, they were, I think, in a studio. And as it were, at some point, it seems like MJ just lay on the couch and kind of fell asleep for some time. He says when he woke up, it was about midnight.
Yeah.
And when he wakes up at midnight, he says, okay, I think I know exactly what it is that I need to do
With this song. Yeah.
So they needed to start working on it at that time with him.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm trying to get to is to find out from you what it is that it took for you to get here. Emotionally, how the research part of it, what is it that drove you? What was at the center of your wanting to get to where we are now?
And it's a funny story, right? So in my 9 to 5, there's a lot of stress. So I initially took the book writing as an outlet to break the stress cycle.
Yeah.
So this is a product of stress management.
Stress relief.
Yes. It happened. So usually I work better at night after I've slept and my mind is refreshed and I start again. So there was one night where I woke up in April and last year, and I'm like, I don't want to work, but I'm already up. the body was already attuned to the fact that I wake up at a certain time to work. What do I do with this time? I don't want to watch TV. I can't sit in the dark, and I can't disturb my wife while she sleeps. So then it became, let me write something just as an outlet for stress management. So I began then, right? And it came in ebbs and flows. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a linear process of I'm starting now, I'm gonna end there. Or I'm
Yes.
starting this, I'm gonna actually publish it. Right? I started this and I said, let me see how far it goes.
Yeah.
Right. And there were very critical processes and people in that process that actually pushed me to get to this point. So credit to those people, because I took it to a couple of people as a dry idea to say, guys, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of writing a book, and this is how it's coming out. What do you think? I think I sent it to about four people,
Yeah.
and about 2 or 3 of them actually responded, and they were quite excited to see how this process is going to unfold. They some commented, some gave a review, right?
Yeah.
In terms of structure, in terms of characters, in terms of storyline, and all of that. So it took a village in the literal sense,
Absolutely.
in that I had the idea, but there were people who actually became the motivation. And with their cajoling, their encouragement, I eventually got to a time, I think closer to October, where I said, guys, I have a book. Right? And it wasn't
You were
even,
confident enough now.
it was because I was seeing now the number of pages I had,
Yeah.
right? It was almost over 100 now, right? Over 100 pages. And I said, guys, I have a book. So they're like, now it's time to start prepping for the launch.
But was it already structured at the time, like chapter and verse, or it was still more your raw input, as it were?
Hey, I think the chapters and verses were there because I was doing almost like progressive writing,
Okay.
right? So I was building and then stepping away, and there was a period, I think about 3 months from around August or September through to November, where I actually was writing almost every week. But before that, it was quite sporadic. So it was like when I need the mental break, I will come and write, right? But once it became, it hit a certain threshold, a tipping point, it became like, now I have a book. And now I have, so I also put myself under pressure. I said, if I don't give myself pressure, I'll never finish this, right?
The project will never come to
The
life.
project will never see. And, part of my job is managing, constraints. So I'm like, if I don't put a constraint on this project, it will never finish. I'll probably write it until 2030. So I did something I probably should never repeat, right? I printed an advertorial and I pre-announced the launch date of the book for November or for actually for December, right? I said
2025.
I said in December on this date, this book will be out. That time I'm like 60% into the book. And I have like 2 months to go. Right. So it put me under so much pressure because now all of a sudden I had to lock in.
You actually have a deadline
I deadlined
to
myself.
work towards.
Yeah. Yeah. To
So
work towards.
I could easily say then that was a huge challenge for you
It was.
in the process.
It was, yeah.
Where you see the end date,
Yeah.
and yet the work is not complete.
The work is not
What
complete.
else was there that was really giving you sleepless nights? in that process? The kind of challenge that you thought, am I ever going to be able to handle this one? Am I ever going to be able to successfully get over this hump on the road?
I think what people don't tell you is how difficult it is to write a book. It's easy to write a short book. It's not easy to write a novel. So a novel, there are categories. So I had to learn some of these things, right? So, for example, this book is about 284 pages from page 1, right? There are things that you learn about what makes this a novel and not a novelette. What makes this fiction and not non-fiction? What is the formatting that you need to have? What do you put where? You know, for example, one of the things I had to learn is editing. My gosh, I hate it. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do because English is not even my first language. No, neither is it my second, right? So I had to learn how to leverage tools. But I also had to learn this process myself because I self-published, right? So everything I did for this book to come looking like this, it's me. The cover, the content, the chapters, the layout, the editing, the marketing, the ISBN, the spine, you know, where what sets, the copyright page, the dedication page. It's such an involved process.
It's huge.
You know, people actually see this at a bookstore and think, this is easy. Someone wrote this. But the process to get it to done and ready for sale, it's terrible. I don't encourage anyone to self-publish.
When you talk about editing, now that I'm outside of my previous job as a government communicator, my team, before I retired, they used to take issue with me.
Right.
Because one of the things I always said to them was, guys, we are not going to put anything out there that goes out in my name that I haven't seen before. And I tell you, everyone would be like, no, but Ratau, why do you want? And I'm like, especially because the language is the for me. People might look at it as basic.
Yes.
But how you actually communicate whatever you want to say.
The word choices.
It because it reflects you.
Yes.
In the ultimate.
Yeah.
And people thought I was being finicky.
Yeah.
Pedantic. I remember even after I left, on Facebook, one of my previous colleagues wrote on his page, hey, on this day, and there was a picture there, I remember this and that and that. The comments from those colleagues.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, these guys.
Yeah.
But it is because unless you sometimes take responsibility for that, the comeback you might not be able to manage.
Yes.
So I understand what you're saying when you talk about the part about editing and so on. So it must have taken a lot out of you.
A lot of time, but I think technology and the technologist for some of the tools that we have now. Grammarly was such a big part of what I did to edit the book. The second part was, so I used two. So I used Quillbot, which is another writing tool to look at, sentence construction, to also look at, grammar, punctuation, and all of that. Because I think being myself, and I'm also just as pedantic as you, I probably would have pushed this aside. I would have never published it because by the time that this version that I have in front of us, by the time someone reads it, this is probably edition 7 because I've edited so many times. So every time I read it, and I'm actually scared of reading the book again because every time I read it, I
You
change
find
it.
something
I
weird.
find something that's not right. Like this is not right.
Yeah.
I can't have my name next to this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think after looking at all that, one would want to know. Now the product is done.
Yeah.
The launch date comes.
Yeah.
The launch happens. What was the most rewarding part of this process?
I think seeing how many people really were excited and supported me because I actually made people aware that I'm launching maybe 3 days or 2 days before the launch, right? And this was the last week before people go on holiday in December, before the 16th.
The mindset is
Yeah,
elsewhere.
people already are checked out. So I sent out invites then, and I had planned to see about 40 people. And that number kind of doubled because everyone brought another. It was such a merry thing to see the excitement from many of my friends and family who came to support my project, right? Because I look at this thing as a project. It has a certain start and end.
Yeah.
I might never really revisit it again, right? Because middle of the process, I thought, it would be nice to complete this project to impress my kids. Because when you get to a certain age, it becomes all about legacy for you. Like, you want your kids to look at you differently because you're no longer just living for yourself. You're looking to make your kids aware that there is opportunity in enterprise. So what a man thinketh, so is he. So it was quite also a joyous moment for me to be able to show that to my kids to
I
say,
can do this.
you
I have done
your dad is an author now, so give me some of that.
additional to everything.
Yeah, I'm not just a dad.
I'm not just a dad.
I'm also an author.
Now, this book,
Yeah,
and I think when we started talking, it was quite obvious that I find the title very intriguing.
yeah,
It's intriguing because when some of us grew up,
yeah,
Sandton itself
yes,
found us along the way
yes,
in terms of how developed it is now.
yes,
And like we were talking, earlier on, the mindset that you can't find a witch in Sandton. Sandton is too
bougie.
first world,
Yeah, yeah,
Sandton is too high class.
yes,
Sandton is not your Bila.
yes.
You know,
It's not a village.
it's not a village even. Bila
Yeah.
is still a little higher nyana,
Yeah,
when you look at it. So why a witch,
yeah,
and why particularly in Sandton?
yeah,
But also the last witch
yes,
in Sandton.
yeah.
How does that name come about? What was the thinking?
I think, and the title is part of the story, right? And it was such a difficult one to come to because, as you say, when you break it down and you boilerplate all the things that make the title, it is such an anomaly, right? So I knew if I make it Sandton, people will gravitate more towards it because it's an anomaly to have a witch in Sandton. But the story is set at least in about 4 locations,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The first one
I
is
could see that,
yeah, it's in Umhlaba Uyalingan, right? So if I say the last witch of Umhlaba Uyalingan,
Are you aware how far Umhlabuya is from Sandton? You.
but also people will expect that because Umhlaba it's known for that.
Yeah.
And she also lived in Hillbrow, right? If I say the last witch of Hillbrow, yeah, so what, right? It's a melting pot. It's of people
You
there.
would
You would
expect that
expect
there
that,
should be a
right?
witch in
She
Hillbrow.
lived in Houghton, so I could have said the last witch of Houghton. Right, it has a little bit of a ring to it because Madiba lived there, the moneyed class lived there. It could have also gone, but she identifies with Sandton so much because it became such a challenging, reflective, and aspirational place for her. Nomvula, that is, when she saw it, right? That she made it her mission to want to live in Sandton by any means necessary. So the witchery, the sorcery, the muti, the things that got her to live in Sandton had, witchery in it. And she wanted to get to Sandton almost as a destination. And as you say, it's such an aspirational, capitalistic place. So she wanted to get to Sandton. So I wanted that, association because I'm not sure there is a witch in Sandton today, right? But because of where she practiced,
you might just be surprised.
I might just be surprised. But the story says, at the time that she got there, she became the last one, right? There might have been others who either through because witching has different connotation in both African sense as well as in the Western sense. The people who built Sandton, maybe they use blood money. It could be called witchery. Maybe they use certain things that they leverage. It could be called witchery. But she used African magic, spiritual magic, to climb the ladder to become almost one of the richest women in Sandton.
When I was looking at her introduction into city life,
yeah,
it resonates with a lot of, especially us Africans, moving out of our, for the lack of a better word, normal rural life.
Yes.
Into the space that we aspire to be a part of.
Yeah.
And a lot of lives have changed in so many ways by coming into
Joburg,
the city. Others have made a success of it.
Yeah.
And others have had worse hardships.
Yes.
Others have even felt that they are too ashamed to track back home.
Yes.
To go and say, life didn't work out.
Yes.
So it could have a lot of, a number of outcomes are possible.
Yes.
But when you look at her, she decided, this is it.
Yeah.
It's either this or nothing.
Yes.
And that is how she starts, looking at how then she builds herself from that poor rural village girl who arrived with 60 rand.
Yes.
That thing says, I can't even rent a room for 60 rand.
Yeah.
But for her, I think you could look at that and say she definitely had a drive.
Yeah.
She hadn't started thinking sorcery at the time.
No.
It was just about, I have arrived.
The opportunities.
What do I do?
Yeah.
Now, you look at what influences her
Yeah.
once she is here.
Yes.
Without taking too much out of the book. Otherwise, people will simply listen to us and not buy the book.
And not buy.
So those are the things that you wonder whether she could have built more on her own drive and entrepreneurship
Yes.
to be able to get to something.
Yeah.
Maybe not the same level
Yes.
of a fortune of 400 million.
Yes.
I looked at those numbers and I'm like, wow, okay.
It's staggering.
It's staggering.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
Umhlabuyalingana to 400 million
Yeah.
in the richest square mile on the continent.
Yeah.
That is something. Now, I also think, I look at her and I say, gee, but she was thinking very deeply.
Yeah.
When you look at her choice of in the ultimate victims, because initially they are not victims. Initially, it's a choice. It's the kind of rungs on the step ladder that she identifies to be able to step up.
Yeah.
In life.
Yeah.
And all of them are in different kinds of surroundings.
Yes.
From a judge to a mining mogul and what have you.
Yeah.
But you also see, I could easily say, her viciousness. That once she started realizing what kind of tools she has to be able to go forward and attain what she wanted.
Yeah.
She really went into wanting to use those tools.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you detailed it quite well, right? Because success comes in various forms. Many people, the conventional is that you go to school, or let's say maybe the first one is you're born into a rich family. You're already rich, right? So that's generational wealth. The second one is you work your socks off and you end up at the top. And that's almost the common type of riches that we think everyone goes through. And then there are those who get rich through trickery, enterprise, and other ways, right? And if you look at it, most of the greatest wealth in many forms comes from people who have tricked others into believing certain ways and then stole their loot, right?
Yeah.
Pyramid schemes and stuff. And then she saw that she only had matric. She had beauty. She was quite a looker. And she had her Gogo's talent of African spiritual healing, right? So why not combine all of those things as tools that you can use to ascend yourself? Because, everyone forgets how you get rich once you're at the top.
Yeah.
But until then,
they look at the end product.
Yeah. I mean, it's like they don't care your struggles. Are you rich? If you're rich, then we're going to really look up to you. We're going to idolize you. We're going to put you as the poster child of rags to riches, right? So she wanted that, and she saw a way through that. So whether this was through strategic relationships or in a case, strategic marriages to moneyed men, or leveraging, her Gogo's talent to use men to actually give her what she wanted.
She is quite a character.
Yeah.
Because when you look at it, she's not a stupid woman.
No.
She's not an average woman.
No.
She's a very bright woman.
She is.
And she's very decisive.
Very.
So when she
And resolute. Yeah.
resolute,
Yeah.
yo,
Yes.
she's like a bull terrier, you know.
Yes.
But one of the things in that as well
Yeah.
that becomes part of her downfall, as far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
was that once she had set her mind on something,
Yeah.
she wouldn't listen to anything else.
No.
She was obviously very close to nkgono wa hae.
Yeah.
Nkgono wa hae e ne re ha bua, you know. No a tseba hore no nkgono o buile.
Yes.
Mara, and the ultimate, even though nkgono wa hae advised her to say, wa tseba re keng hlokomela ntho eo o e etsang hobane e tlo o kenya kotsing."
E tlo o kenya kotsing.
She really went into that danger.
I think-
so sorry, just before you come
Yeah.
in, there is this one part
Yeah.
of her interaction with nkgono wa hae where her granny says that no, she says to her granny
Yeah.
in part of her plot,
Okay.
she says, "I do not want the slow acting herbs you gave me the last time."
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, what is this woman saying?
She wants the results, and you know, it's, I think that's actually a human thing, right? If you succeed the first time, like they say, you know, the hardest million is the first one. The next one you can make it almost in half the time, right? So the first man or husband that she had and she killed, she followed a longer process, right? You know, make sure that, you know, there is an elapsation of time. But once she saw that she could get away with it, you know, also consciously be able to live with it, she became quite hesitant now to get to results quicker with the next iteration of the murder that she plotted and successfully executed, right? Because it was now also, there were factors that encouraged her to, you know, have, you know, this, I want this process quickly, right? Because the guy was different to the first.
Yeah.
Right?
Completely different.
He wasn't as gentlemanly as the first one.
Yeah.
So she saw the path to finishing him quickly as the most important one, so that she can move on, take the loot, and move forward in her quest for more success.
You know, when you read the book beyond the title,
Yeah.
and if you have been fortunate to read some of the African stories,
Yes.
or stories that are written by African authors
Yeah.
across the genres,
Right.
you can look at it as part of the storytelling capabilities that are inherent in African people.
Yeah.
And you know, African stories, I think there was a lull at some point where we were not actually reading them, not producing them, not, doing anything about
No.
it. It was almost like we've forgotten
Yes.
those kind of traditions. But African storytelling has always been as well very rich,
Very rich. Yeah.
because when people think African storytelling, they think it's only about folklore,
Yeah.
but it isn't.
It
It
isn't.
cuts across.
Yeah.
Because it also includes your sciences. It includes your philosophy.
Yes.
How inspiring is it when you look at your book
Yeah.
and put it, you know, amongst some of those books that you have read or seen or whatever, and say, by the way, I have now become part of this kind of route that we are taking now.
Yeah, I think it's quite a privilege, right? Because before, if you remember, we had a president called Mbeki who used to talk about the intelligentsia.
Yeah.
And the need to create, as a society, not just of South Africa, but also as Africans, because if everything we do is consume, then we are poor, because then it means we are just a consumerist a people, right? So that thing encouraged me quite a bit, because at the time I was still between, late high school into early career, right, during his presidency. And I started also reading, a lot more about African writers. One of them being W.E.B. Du Bois.
Du Bois, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and Du Bois, there is that seminal writing that he did about the talented tenth. And as you say, he mentions the breadth and length of African people who have done well, right? But obviously, due to poor documenting, poor writing, poor preservation of our culture, our people, and our norms, we lost some of that,
Absolutely.
right? And he challenges this talented tenth of people to take up arms, right, to become the next generation of people who will influence the black nation in a different way, right? So that we can become more producers than consumers. So, and now, as you mentioned, in recent time, I think we're seeing a lot of African books becoming novels. I mean, becoming series. You look at The Polygamist from Sue. You look at there was one about the taxi driver, The Wife.
The Wife, yeah.
Right. It's all African stories.
Outcast. There was also The Outcast.
It's making such a great re-entrance, because it was there, right? It just went into a lull, as you say, but now it is becoming such a vogue thing that people are hungry to read stories about themselves, written by people who look like them.
Exactly.
Right? And it's encouraging. And for me also to, be able to say I'm one of the people who have written something, whether this tomorrow becomes nothing or becomes something, I have not just only consumed, I have produced a work of art that was never there before. So I'm very, very proud.
Because I think it can also assist us in terms of preserving our African stories, preserving or adding on to the profile that the continent is actually all about.
Yeah.
Because like you are saying that, it is not all about consuming, but it is also about production.
Yes.
And production is multifaceted.
Yeah.
What do you think? Where do you think? But I think you've touched on it somewhat.
Okay.
As to where the African storytelling is telling us,
is
taking us right now. As we go towards wrapping up our discussion, maybe just one thing that one would want to check with you.
Yeah.
You've written the book. You've produced the book.
Yeah.
It is out there. People can be able to get it. You will be able to tell us where we can be able to get it.
Yeah.
But what is it that you would love us as the readers to take out of this work?
Yeah. So I think for me, it's the Last Witch of Sandton. It's about ambition. I think at the end of the day, when you read the book from even the back of the book, right?
Yeah.
It talks about the price of ambition, right? So you can become anything you want, but you must also be ready to pay the price, right? Because success is a price. You have to sacrifice. I mean, when I first met DJ Busang, who's today one of the most famous photographers, he was shooting with an Ericsson cell phone, right? But it was intentionality on his part. It was passion on his part. It was enterprise on his part that made him, a multi-award winning photographer and producer, right? And there's many other friends that I also have that have done great things. You look at Tshepo Matjila as well. From the dusty street of Bela Bela to becoming the CEO, of the
Johannesburg
largest market
on the continent.
Yeah, and maybe one of the top 5 in the world.
Yeah.
These things don't just happen. You have to make it happen. And to make it happen takes the energy, it takes the vision, it takes the intention, it takes the enterprise.
Yeah.
It takes the sweat equity.
Absolutely.
To really get to it. So I want people to understand that success can come to you irrespective of your condition. I mean, Nomvula came from a poor background, a village, drinking from a stream, right, to becoming 400 million worth, right? We can question the way she went about to become rich, but we can't question the fact that she wasn't given that money. She wasn't given that wealth. She worked for it. So at the end of, if we had to write the summary about what is this book about, you can become anything you want if you're willing to pay the price for it.
Pay the price as in CE in order to attain the prize as in ZE.
Absolutely.
So where do we get the book?
The book is available at multiple places. So the best place is direct from myself. The details will be at the bottom of the screen. So email me at author@tshepomatjila.co.za, or you can get it anywhere else on any good digital bookstores, Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Just search for it on the internet. You'll get multiple ways to actually find the book. But as I said, if you want autographed copies, you can get them direct from myself.
Great. Just before we wrap up, the very last thing. I know that we have spoken about the book. It has been a beautiful, beautiful conversation. Thank you very much for
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
We are now getting, the World Cup is over, the FIFA World Cup.
Yeah.
That team did not win. We're about to get into the new season of football.
Yeah.
I know that you also follow football.
Yeah.
In the Premier League, EPL, who do you think will be able to unseat Arsenal this coming season?
I think they are the usual suspect. You always think Manchester United. I'm a big fan.
Big fan.
Yeah. But I think we probably need another season to see what Michael can do. And then there is the pedigree that was with Manchester City. So they can always come back and reclaim the title. It went almost to the wire this previous season. There is Chelsea. It's starting to look good again. So it could be another surprise. But also there are other, non-traditional champion from the EPL that are starting to show great enterprise. Aston Villa. I think it's going to be a good season. But if I were to choose, I'd go with my club, Man United.
And you?
Yeah.
And at home?
I'm a big supporter of Kaizer Chiefs.
Hey, man, there's lots of commonalities here. Cosination.
Cosination. Yeah, the cosination. We've suffered quite a bit over the past decade. But I think the past couple of seasons, at least the past 2-3, it's starting to look positive again. We have a new coach, so hopefully he's going to bring more glory, a cup or 3. And if he can get the EPL, then that will be a bonus.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tshepo Matjila from Bilabila.
Thank you.
And to everybody else, please remember tshepomatjila.co.za. Tshepo Matjila
to order, it's author.
Email. Yeah, author
at tshepomatjila.
tshepomatjila.co.za.
.co.za.
Absolutely. Author at tshepomatjila.co.za.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You've
Thank you
been
so
very
much.
kind.
Thank you so much.